Without further ado, I'd like to welcome your MC and host today, Wendy Hurlbert, who is our president and CEO. She is going to be introducing all of our speakers today and very much enjoy the event. Over to you, Wendy.
Thanks, Ryan. That's great. And welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're pleased to be hosting this member spotlight featuring Cytiva on accelerating your therapeutic process to meet your milestones and bring your vision to life. As we begin, I'd like to acknowledge that I'm joining this event from within the traditional and unceded territory of the Coast Salish peoples, including the territories of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations. For those of you not familiar with Life Sciences BC, we are a non-governmental, not-for-profit organization made up of stakeholders from across the life sciences ecosystem. Our members consist of academia, research institutions, centers of excellence, digital health, medtech, therapeutic companies, and organizations such as Cytiva that support and provide services tailored to the broad life sciences ecosystem. We're funded through membership and the generous contribution of our sponsors, and this event was made possible by Cytiva. Thank you very much for your investment and interest in Life Sciences BC. As we start each event, we like to announce our newest members to our organization. They are the Arazi Group, Domain Therapeutics, and SFU, Simon Fraser University, the Faculty of Science. As a member-funded organization, we're always welcoming new members, so please reach out to any of us at LSBC or go to our website for membership information, and we'd be pleased to chat with you about that. So now on to our program. Our first speaker is Ken Elder. Ken, if you can turn on your camera. Ken is the Senior Account Manager for Cytiva, formerly GE Healthcare Life Sciences, with over 20 years sales experience serving the life sciences and biotech sector in Western Canada, and is an advocate and supporter of the emerging biotech sector here. Ken is the first line of contact and entry point to accessing Cytiva products and resources within the region. Over to you, Ken.
All right, well, thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Let's make sure that I am sharing my slides correctly. All right. Okay,
Perfect.
well, there we
You're
go.
good.
There's way too much background here. There we go. Sorry about that. I just have, how do you get rid of the QBox? There we go. All right. All right. So there we go. Good morning. I'd like to thank Life Sciences BC for the opportunity to present the Cytiva story to the membership. So today I'm going to give you a quick overview of who Cytiva is today and how we can help you accelerate your therapeutic process to meet your milestones and bring your vision to life. I also have a few people here to help share this story. So I've invited my colleague, Patrick McMahon, who's our business development leader for our Fast Track group, as well as a couple customer representatives. This is, will include Caroline O'Clair-Daigle, who's the client relationship leader for the NRC's national programs and business services. So they've been trying to meet the pace to get scaled up to support the Canadian biomanufacturing market. And as well as Dr. Arun Rachuri, who's the CSO for Entos Pharmaceuticals, and they've been chasing the COVID dream and trying to get a vaccine to market, and we've been helping them as well. So Cytiva. Cytiva is a global provider of technologies and services that advance and accelerate the development and manufacture of therapeutics. We were formerly part of GE Healthcare Life Sciences. We have a rich heritage tracing back hundreds of years and a fresh beginning since early in this year, 2020, with the $22 billion acquisition by Danaher to join their life sciences group of companies. So we're in great sister companies. We've got like Beckman and IDT and Paul and Molecular Devices, SciEx and Phenomenex. So it's a great company. It feels fresh to be in a group of life sciences companies rather than, GE planes, trains, and automobiles, I guess. So we're excited about this new family that we're a part of. And our customers undertake life-saving activities ranging from fundamental biological research to developing innovative vaccines, biologic drugs, and novel cell and gene therapies. And our job is to supply the tools and services that you need to work better, faster, safer, leading to better patient outcomes. Our portfolio spans a range of instruments and consumables, digital and enterprise solutions, as well as services, spanning the range from basic process development to complete manufacturing workflows and facilities that scale according to your needs. And as an example of some of the modalities that we support, of course, monoclonal antibodies has been our bread and butter. We've been very deep into that for a long time, and we keep expanding our range of capabilities. And you look at where the marketplace is today, there's a strong growth in bispecific antibodies. We know like companies like Zymeworks, and then fragments that are taking charge, nanobodies. And then in this time of, the COVID pandemic, everybody's now looking at, vaccines and, whether they're viral vectors or DNA vaccines or lipid nanoparticles. You see that huge kind of, well, not huge, but, very substantial portion of companies in Vancouver that are, kind of come out of Peter Cullis's lab spinoff. So, that's a big area that's growing very rapidly. As well, we support cell and gene therapy. I don't know if anybody remembers back a few years ago when we put a $20 million investment into the CCRM, and now, our partnership with them, there's kind of the CCRM side and our bridge manufacturing side, and they're essentially our global R&D site for cell and gene therapy. So we've got some great resources in Canada to help you out as well. And just kind of to reflect on, where we've been, we've got greater than 9 Nobel laureates using Cytiva research tools. And maybe that's 10 now with Michael Houghton. He's based here now in Edmonton with some great vaccine work that they're doing here in the Virology Institute. And we've been around for about 60 years in this industry with the advent of, pharmacy and the first column chromatography. And we're present in, more than 75% of the top selling biologics as, tools and service providers. And, 100% of FDA approved cell therapies are enabled by our platforms. So today in drug development, time to experiment, time to clinic, time to market have become even more important for developers and manufacturers of biopharmaceuticals. And no matter what stage of drug development you're at, it's key for you to hit your milestones as quickly as possible in the most effective way possible, as your funding and your ability to advance your science and get it to patients depends on it. We recognize that many companies may not have all the knowledge and expertise in-house for things like certain aspects of R&D or process development, or just determining what your manufacturing options are. So we, the team at Cytiva, want to make sure it's easy and quick for you to access that expertise, whether it's enabling technology or contract services, things that'll help you make those advancements happen, which ultimately helps reduce your risk, whether it's adopting a proven technology or determining whether to build in-house or outsource. So where it really starts is about your local support. And we work in an account management structure where I kind of sit there as a liaison for you to reach deeper into our organization. And we have a great team of people here in Canada supporting the BC market, from basic consumables to lab scale equipment to kind of do that R&D, through to, things like cell culture, buffers, upstream bioreactors, downstream manufacturing. And then, of course, we have got a great team to support your equipment and your teams in the field, not only break and fix, but, making sure that your whole facility is running effectively. And in addition to this, this is really built on a foundation of our deep knowledge and application scientists and technical specialists that really drive, the technologies and getting us and our customers to that next level. In addition to this, we have a couple other kind of cool services that not everybody knows about. And And in the next talk, my colleague Patrick's going to come in and talk about our fast track education, process development, and biomanufacturing services. So I won't steal his thunder. So we'll wait to hear Patrick talk about this. But another area, is our fast track, our enterprise solutions. So whether it's, taking a purpose, all those instruments and linking together into an integrated end-to-end biomanufacturing platform, or looking at a complete facility. So it's really taking those individual pieces and designing them in an automated workflow that's configured to meet your needs, whether it's mAbs or vaccines or cell therapy. And we can do this really rapidly, where we can be training your staff in parallel to the construction of the equipment. And then if it's, maybe you don't have a space already or a clean room, which there's not a lot of that capability in Canada, we can also wrap this Flex Factory solution in a modular clean room facility, whether it's, if you have like this picture on the right, if you have an existing warehouse, we can drop in clean room modules into your facility, or even a complete modular facility on a foundation anywhere in the world. And what this really is it gives you, rapid access to manufacturing capability, helps reduce your costs, and that accelerated time to market. It's so important. You think of, all these COVID vaccines that are, in the design works, and it's really going to be like, who can make that production happen in a timely fashion? And that's where we come in. We can really accelerate those timelines. And if you look at what we've done with Flex Factory across the globe, we have more than 70 Flex Factory or QBO facilities worldwide. And, and you look at the hubs of manufacturing in the US, of course, we're there and we continue to expand. And you see the rapid growth rate in China, and in Europe, we're starting to place as well. But you also notice there's that little empty spot in Canada. So if you think about it, maybe this is you going to fill that spot. Do you have something that you need to get to manufacturing quick to hit those timelines and help patients? And we can do this in as little as 18 months to drop ship a complete facility combined with training of your team and your resources and get you up to speed quicker. So that's kind of my brief overview in a nutshell. So I really appreciate your time. So please stick around and listen to our next speakers. There's some exciting stuff happening now in the world. So thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Ken. That was quite interesting. A bit of an overview of an area that we spend a little bit less time talking about, which is actually the execution and manufacturing and how an organization like yours can support it. So it was really fascinating. I look forward to the Q&A. A reminder to everyone that I'll be moderating a Q&A at the end. So please post your questions in the little Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. That'd be great, because we want to make sure that you have the opportunity of having your questions answered. Our next speaker is Patrick Mahan. So Patrick, if you can turn on your camera. Patrick is the Global Business Development Manager for Cytiva's Fast Track Biomanufacturing team. With 25 years of experience in business development, product management, he has helped bring several projects through to commercialization, including Sequel, Solaris, and Reduce. I'm not going to pronounce that correctly. I'll let you talk about that. His areas of expertise include process development, process transfer, operations, and formulation. He's experienced in supporting global regulatory and process validation requirements, managing biologics bulk drug manufacturing sites in the US and China. And Patrick is joining us from Boston. So welcome, Patrick.
Thank you, Wendy. I think that was a nice presentation by Ken and a nice jumping off point. So today I'll be sharing an overview of the fast track CDMO services that we offer within the Cytiva portfolio. And I am sharing my screen now.
Yes, we can see it.
Excellent. So thank you for the opportunity to join the talk today. And I think there's a common theme out there that really is woven between all of our offerings here. It's providing large solutions within the bioprocess portfolio to our customer base. So our fast track biomanufacturing CDMO services is really geared towards providing our customers with those biologic solutions. And they're not one-off, they're not black and white. And our team, our global team, is really made up of experts in the space that have the scientific background, but more importantly, also the scalability background that goes with it. And I'll get more into some of the detail of how we present our offering. We're not a traditional CDMO or CMO. We really are coupled with the larger solutions that Ken was alluding to earlier, and bringing those solutions to our customers in a very fast-paced environment. And we understand process development all the way through commercialization of molecules. Our fast track history spans 30 years, and I've been with the team for 10 of those 30, and I can't believe how quickly time flies. But starting with our roots in Europe and focusing primarily on the chromatography arena and providing that expertise to our customer base as more of a supplemental technical sales support team, to really blossoming. And you can see in the 2000s, we start to get into the acquisition of Accelerex and the expansion of the Fast Track Services organization. And we build this value chain around the globe from the US all the way to China. And it's not by coincidence that we build this value chain. This is meeting the requests of our customer base as they move away from just catalog sales support into more customized solutions. How do you help us bring our molecule to market? I may be interested in more than just buying your protein A resin. So the Fast Track organization has really blossomed within the GE/Cytiva portfolio now, as we are Cytiva today, and really meeting those needs of our customer base. And when we offer our services, we try to put some boundaries around it so our customers will understand which lever to pull, and providing them with optionality throughout that life cycle. And it starts with process development. It's holistic process development. This can entail full upstream and downstream process development, or it can include single unit operation development, overcoming some of the challenges that you may be struggling with internally. And again, you may have the wherewithal to understand technically the challenges, but not have necessarily the equipment or the human resources. So again, we're in that space, full process development all the way to single unit operation development. And then we also have biomanufacturing services. This is where we're looking at scalability. We're looking at proof of concept, toxicology batch for bulk drug manufacturing in the large molecule space. And then we can also bring you all the way to clinical phase 1 and phase 2. And then more importantly, on the back end, it's the handoff. It's helping our customer base with training and education. So we do have global courses that are more textbook, and they're offerings that are more black and white. But on the back end, it's the expertise that comes with that. It's the theory. It's working openly with our customer base and sharing that process knowledge to empower our customers to do what they need to do. We really looked at the entire globe in the hotspots and trying to build the geographical locations within the Fast Track team to support our customer base globally. So looking at left to right, starting with the Americas and the Marlborough sites. We have 2 sites in Marlborough, Massachusetts that are focused on process development and then the full scale up to GMP manufacturing. We do have a BSL-1 and a BSL-2 manufacturing site there where we do offer our services. And then sandwiched in the middle, you do see this, this reference to Toronto, Canada. And that's where Ken was alluding to. This is a very new addition to our Fast Track team for cell and gene therapy. And it's really just starting to get off the ground. And this is the relationship that Ken was referring to with CCRM as well. But we're really building out that cell and gene therapy space within the Fast Track offering. but more importantly, within the Cytiva portfolio as well. And that includes everything from facility design all the way through offering the services that are rendered through the Fast Track organization. We also have the Logan, Utah site, and that is our Hyclone site. Hyclone, as most are aware, offer the buffer solutions as well as cell culture media manufacturing and development. And they play a critical role when we're offering a holistic end-to-end service to our customer base. And they're integrated into providing that service. And that's the common theme as we go through this value chain from left to right with the different geographical sites. On the far east, we'll jump over to China. They are the closest to offering the full range of services that the Marlborough site offers in the United States. And they can perform process development all the way through scale up. And by year end, we're hoping to be able to really morph into offering GMP services. And then more importantly, moving into next year, they'll be offering GMP bulk drug manufacturing services up to the 500 liter scale. And they'll be in the BSL1 and they're also in the BSL2 space. And then Uppsala, Sweden and Songdo, South Korea offer process development upstream and downstream, as well as scalability. I will reference our Sweden site does have a very close relationship with our R&D team. And that R&D team focuses on all of the NPIs and rolling out all the new products. And as you look at this network, they're leveraging the fast track expertise and implementing the use of these NPIs in that space. So, you can see where the synergies within Cytiva and then within interactions with our customers really is rounded out by leveraging this fast track network to provide those bioprocessing solutions to our customers. Transparency and openness. This is really what our customers are asking for. They're not looking to be held captive. They're not looking to sign on with, long-term agreements where they have very little access to IP or knowledge base. And that's really what our fast track team has been founded on. It's really working very openly with our customers as we move through the value chain of early process development that spans cell culture media development, process development. It could be scale up tox or even GMP clinical phase 1 and phase 2 with all the supporting infrastructure that goes with that, such as quality, QC, regulatory, and then on the back end, process transfer, or even startup. So this transparency and openness, it really provides a flexibility and an optionality in the bioprocess arena that helps the small biotech all the way to large biopharma. And I'll cover, very high level a case study that touches upon how we helped, with the full value chain with large biopharma, but small biotech is really looking for that optionality when they don't know which direction they're moving in very early phase. They're looking to just make it to their next clinical milestone and then make the decisions on either partnering up, selling the IP, or going to manufacturing on their own. And that's really where our fast track team fits into the Cytiva portfolio. Our value chain and our understanding, it really is a deep breadth of experience that spans the Cytiva R&D team and the fast track team. And we have a deep understanding of the different modalities, spanning monoclonal antibodies all the way to enzymes. We've had over 100 campaigns that span process development all the way through clinical manufacturing, and then everything in between within the fast track expertise and portfolio. I think this is really aligning with what Ken presented earlier, and it aligns the fast track service offering within the rest of Cytiva. And what we're really geared to do is provide biomanufacturing solutions that don't exist in some cases. And by working with the fast track biomanufacturing team, we can really save time in bringing molecules to market, but in a parallel path, working directly with teams such as our enterprise solutions teams that can also work on larger solutions that are more geared towards the outputs from the services or the process development that include QBO modular facilities all the way to fitting flex factory platforms in our single-use technology. I actually was part of the enterprise team previously, but I'm now in the fast track team, and it's not by coincidence. We really bridge the gap very seamlessly within our organization by crafting these two teams together by providing those large solutions. And then I think this one customer case study really captures the power of how we can unfold these large solutions and how customers can interact with Cytiva at a very high level. You know, in this particular case, this was a large biopharma coming to us, and they were looking to launch a cost-effective bioprocessing platform in China for their biosimilar program. And they were really coming to us with a pen and a pad and asking us how could we help them accomplish their task. And their objectives were converting from stainless steel to single use so they could rapidly deploy these biosimilar programs and replicate them worldwide, and then scale up their process from 10 liter to 200 liter in the single use platform to demonstrate proficiency with an eye towards 2000 liter manufacturing. And then lastly, helping them deploy this entire program of their biosimilars and launching them globally, not just for the one site that they were originally looking at in China, but then to replicate that globally. The outcomes, we worked with them within the fast track team, but the enterprise solutions team in a parallel path also was working with them to design their facility with the outputs coming from our Cytiva fast track team. We completed the entirety of the work that was asked of us to scale to 200 liters and transfer to our China Shanghai team. And we shaved 12 months off their entire program that they were looking at if they had the undertaking internally on their own. In addition to that, we developed the mid-scale process in 5 months. So we reached that 200 liter scale in 5 months and demonstrated proficiency to buy down the risk for them. And then we also transferred them to the China region with our Shanghai fast track site in country for country to meet the demand and the requirement to launch their IND in their early clinical phase program. And then more importantly, on the back end, it was linking this to the QBO and the Flex Factory facility that was built. And we transferred all of these processes and supported the startup within that facility. So again, this demonstrates the entire range of our capabilities, leveraging, you know, a bioprocess solution that provides optionality, linking our Cytiva fast track team with our customers' goals, their pinch points, their pain points, and it can include anything from small scale development work all the way through the full scale of you know, GMP manufacturing and facility startup, if that's really what a customer is looking for. So I'd like to thank you for giving me the opportunity today to present the Fast Track Cytiva services, and we'll look forward to the question and answer session that we'll have in the upcoming section. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Very interesting. Again, everyone, please remember to add questions if you have them to the Q&A that we can go through at the end. Our next speaker is Caroline Auclair Daigle. Probably many of you in the BC ecosystem know her. Caroline is part of the business development team at the NRC, primarily supporting the Human Health Therapeutics Research Centre for the Western Canada region. Based in Vancouver, she has over 15 years of experience working in R&D, consumer health, life sciences, and healthcare consulting, strategic management, and business intelligence in the public, private, and nonprofit sectors. Before joining NRC, Caroline worked with British Columbia Health Authorities, small business management firms, and management consulting for PwC as part of their healthcare advisory practice, at the University of British Columbia for the Vice President of Research and Innovation, and at TELUS Health within the business development and strategy and marketing teams. Caroline, thanks for joining us, and over to you.
Thank you very much, Wendy. Thank you to you and all of the rest, Ryan and the rest of the Life Sciences BC team. I also wanted to express my thanks to Fiona Fitzgerald as well as Ken Helder from Cytiva for offering this opportunity to be engaging with you this morning. I will now share my screen. So good morning, everyone. So my presentation today will be divided in 3 sections. I will first be speaking in terms of an NRC overview, after which I will be speaking about the COVID-19 pandemic response. And finally, I will be giving some further details in terms of the government announcements that were made recently in terms of supporting the needs for enhanced biomanufacturing capacity here in Canada. So as a brief overview, the National Research Council of Canada, we are the government of Canada's largest science and research organizations. We actually are composed of 14 different research centers that spans throughout Canada. And within this, we also have 10 different divisions. And one of those divisions is the Life Sciences Division. And the Life Sciences Division is comprised of those 3 research centers. Namely the Human Health Therapeutics Research Center, which is the one that I'm primarily involved with. Most of you are also probably familiar with another division that we have at the NRC called the NRC IRAP, or the Industrial Research Assistance Program. And today in my presentation, I will also speak further about a newly created division that we have at the NRC that specifically addresses this need for biomanufacturing in Canada. In terms of our main focus of area that we do at the Human Health Therapeutics Research Center, we really aim at transforming human health outcomes for the benefits of the Canadian citizens. So we do this in collaborations with the public, the private sector's organization, primarily through strategic collaborations that we establish with academic institutions, as well as with partnerships that we develop with Canadian SMEs. So our mission at the NRC truly is to stimulate the accelerations of both the discovery and the development of innovative medicine in Canada, which includes, though it's not limited to, advanced biologics, biomanufacturing, and cell and gene therapy. We do have 4 areas of main focus at NRC Human Health Therapeutics Research Center. So the first one is one of our core program is focused on antibodies, so monoclonal, multifunction, but also includes biosimilars as well as best and first in class. Our second area of focus is one of our key initiatives at NRC is surrounding vaccines, not only because of the current COVID-19 pandemic and our response coming from the government of Canada, but always in terms of preparing for emerging infection preparedness for the upcoming future pandemics. We also have a third area of focus, which are technology platforms, which we have a variety of different subfields, including central nervous system tools, cell therapy tools, as well as viral vector and gene scripting. And finally, we have a second large program at NRC called the cell and gene therapy, in which we focus on a variety of subfields, including viral vector, including in vitro and in vivo testing, as well as precision targeting. We all know that this COVID-19 pandemic has created tremendous global and national impact onto all of us, all of the different societies throughout the world. And in our case, for us, the government of Canada, and especially us at the National Research Council, we are trying to target specific areas in which we feel we could have a role in helping out. Those from the NRC as a whole, we directly are putting in a tremendous amount of effort in order to address the current supply chain disruptions that is happening across several sectors throughout many industries in Canada. And now specifically more for the NRC Human Health Therapeutics Research Center, we are putting quite a bit of energy, of effort, and of time into making sure that we effectively address the need for made in Canada vaccines and biologics. So that's coming back to what Ken as well as Patrick were mentioning in their previous presentation of having more access to biomanufacturing facility here in Canada. And finally, we're also making sure that we can provide the adequate support that is needed to those Canadian SMEs that are currently unable to secure the much needed investment that they are required to carry on with their programs. In terms of the Government of Canada response, you may have seen that the federal government developed this three-pronged strategy or approach since we have been recognizing the urgent need for Canada to be able to guarantee access to a vaccine to every single one of its Canadian citizens. So this three-pronged approach, first of all, it regards to scaling up our capacity for manufacturing domestically here in Canada. I will speak further about some current initiatives that are underway at NRC. Then secondly, it's partnering up with the selected and most promising global vaccine candidates with both advanced purchase agreement as well as in-licensing arrangement. And finally, it's in terms of investing further into a selected few small number of the most promising domestic vaccine candidates here in Canada. Now, if we speak about the Government of Canada's announcement that you may have seen over the course of the past few months, specifically in terms of vaccine production, what we are aiming at is establishing or reaching a steady state of readiness. So what do we mean by this is we have created two different entities at NRC. So the first one to the left is the NRC Clinical Trial Material Facility, or the CTMF. It's following a 44 million investment announcement that was made in the spring 2020, for which we are going to be improving. We're going to be revamping our current biomanufacturing facility at the Royal Mount site facility in Montreal of NRC, so that we could reach up to the level of a full-blown GMP grade facility to be able to produce vaccines for clinical trials. So not only are we wanting to make sure that this facility will be able to comply with the GMP standards for the development, the testing, the scale up, and the production of those promising vaccines, but we also want to make sure that we're going to be able to optimize the process development that is required to produce such clinical material here in Canada. So in that regard, of course, we've had to acquire a significant amount of new materials at NRC, such as large-scale bioreactors, 200 liters, 500 liters, chromatography skids. And I have to say here that one of our main vendors that we selected is Cytiva, not only because they provided us with lead times for equipment that were quite appealing for us at NRC, but even more so, I would say, banking on the solid and ever-evolving relationship that we've developed with Cytiva over the course of the last few years, in which not only are we satisfied with the sales approach and the buyer-supplier relationship that we've been having, but also in terms of the technical assistance and the scientific expertise that they have in-house at Cytiva that allows us to quickly react to the demand, both for our internal projects at NRC, such as those two entities, or to deal with external project with external clients here in Canada or elsewhere in the world. Then the second entity that we have created at NRC on the right-hand side of the slides, it's this new temporary division that I was speaking about earlier in my presentation, called the NRC Biologics Manufacturing Center, or the BMC, which is also based at the Royal Mount facility in Montreal, and which is following the 126 million investment that was announced at the late summer 2020 for the next 2 years for vaccine biomanufacturing. So this will be directly based on site next to the Human Health Therapeutics Research Center at the Royal Mount facility, and this one will be operated through a public-private partnerships. So we are currently in full-blown mode in the development of this project, just as the other project for the clinical trial material facility. We've also had to acquire and purchase a large amount of new equipment. I think it's over 150 new equipment, and I'm glad to say that some of it is also coming from one of our main suppliers, being Cytiva, and we've been satisfied so far with the response that we've been having in terms of making sure that we have access to the right equipment at the right time, and that we can meet our quite aggressive timelines, because we are expecting to be fully up and running as a GMP facility by July 2021. So not only are we looking at being able to enable those GMP certified vaccine production in-house in Montreal, we also are looking at being able to produce approximately 2 million doses per month by next year. And we are also looking at a job creation of about 100 new FTE once project completion. Finally, we at the NRC are always open for collaborative ideas for innovative projects. So we want to engage with all of the main key stakeholders and key players on the Canadian landscape, which includes companies such as Cytiva, but also includes any small scale SMEs or larger scale SMEs academic institution, or not-for-profit organizations. So in terms of interacting with us, there's 4 main ways to reach out to us at NRC. The first one being through strategic and collaborative research and development project. The second one being through biomanufacturing and bioprocess engineering expertise that we have in-house at NRC. And in that regard, I will also mention of Cytiva, because for a global project that we've been involved in, for the production of a lentivirus reference material. It's a project that was initiated by the IS Biotech organization. Cytiva has graciously agreed to donate the bags for single-use bioreactors, as well as the cell culture media for both the pilot and the production batches. So we at the NRC are looking forward at having more of those collaborative type approaches project with Cytiva in the near future. Finally, we have the third way to engage with us is through our own in-house technical expertise and advisory services that we offer to all of our clients at NRC. And finally, the fourth way is through a series of various services that we have in terms of technology transfer. So we can be talking about assets, licensing, or IP management, or else. So that being said, I thank you all for your attention today, and I do welcome any of you to reach out to me directly via email. May you have any further question in regards to the material I just presented or anything else that we can do for you at NRC. Thank you.
Thank you, Caroline. Very interesting. I'm sure there's going to be lots of questions coming out of that, and nice to see the collaboration between Cytiva and NRC on some of these important initiatives that we've all read about in the news, but hadn't really had great insight into. So thanks for that. Again, please add questions into the Q&A if you have any. We're going to turn to our last speaker, Dr. Arun Rachuri. He leads the development of the Entos Fusiongenix genetic medicine delivery platform. He has considerable experience in the development and characterization of pharmaceutics and biologics, with more than 8 years of industry experience in various roles. Dr. Rachuri trained at the Scripps Research Institute at La Jolla, California, and holds a PhD in biochemistry from the University of Windsor. Arun, are you, there we go. Nice to see you.
Hello, everyone. I will share my slides now. Okay, so I'll try to keep my presentation short and mainly focusing on what do we do at Entos and how our association with Cytiva has helped us in where we are. So Entos Pharmaceutical is a spin-off from University of Alberta, from the lab of John Lewis, who is professor in the Department of Oncology. And our area of research mainly, his area of research is like prostate cancer, and that's what we have been doing for the last more than 12 years. But when COVID happened in March, we decided to put all our energy and resources and use of our platform to actually fight against this menace. And without going into much detail, I'm happy to say that one of our candidates for the DNA vaccine for COVID-19 would be going to phase 1 in early January. We are running GMP batches as we speak right now. So I'll just briefly explain about our company. Our company is a nucleic acid delivery company, and which means that we, as a cargo, we can deliver DNA, mRNA, siRNA, microRNA, pretty much any nucleic acid. But we have focused ourselves on DNA primarily because of the lack is the space we have in DNA based delivery, and it is only restricted mainly to AAV, and that's where we thought that there is a need to have a delivery system for the plasmid. So the way our system works is a little different from the other players that are there in the market. For example, we all know, and I would be surprised if no one knows this company as of now. One of them is Moderna. I'm happy to see their progress because this is also a lipid nanoparticle based company. However, their delivery platform is a little different from ours. So in lipid nanoparticle delivery, what Moderna is using and some other companies are using, Pfizer, what they are doing is they're taking the help of an ionizable lipid to actually deliver the cargo, which in their case is mRNA, into the cytosol. It goes through the endosomal pathway and then basically expresses, and that's how they are expressing their full length S protein to generate antibody against COVID-19. So we are doing the same thing in a sense that our platform also is delivering cargo that will generate the antibody. The only difference is that the heavy duty delivery is done by a fusogenic protein, which sits on the surface of the nanoparticles. So we have lipid nanoparticles, and the surface of which there is this protein, which is viral derived protein, small uh, uh, 14 kilodalton protein that actually fuses with the membrane and then delivers the cargo directly into the cytosol, escaping the endosomal pathway. That makes the delivery that much efficient. So I'll not go into the technical details more than that, but basically this is our platform. This is the platform we were using for oncology programs like prostate cancer and breast cancer before March. Our plan was to go in 2021 phase 1 for a couple of those projects, but then as I said, that because of this menace COVID we were hit by in March, John Lewis decided that we'll put all our forces to fight against this, and we basically started looking for the candidates for COVID vaccine. And that's what I was saying, that right now we are running GMP batches to start the phase 1 very soon. Very early on, I mean, that's where I want to talk now a little bit about Cytiva. Very early on, we knew that I had, before joining John, I had more than 8 years of experience in industry. I worked in late phase, launch of biosimilars like erythropoietin and GCSF and some other product. And I worked very closely with Apotex. So I knew that there's one thing, and John, more than professor, he is an entrepreneur. He knew about that also. It's one thing to actually have things done at a small scale in R&D setup, and a completely different ballgame to take it to the clinic. The scalability that is needed, the consistency that is needed is basically of prime importance. And when we were developing the project and we were just two people, I and John, you always have money crunch at that time. When I met Ken and I asked Ken, if you can give me some demo instruments, I promise you one day I'll make you happy. And Ken actually, one of the reasons like we associate with Cytiva was because of my meeting with Ken in the corridor, and he actually provided me with tangential flow filtration and some other units, biobags, wave bioreactor, and that's how our association with Cytiva has started. So now I'm very proud to say that starting from those R&D scale active flux and small machines, now we are working on the Alberta cell therapy manufacturing, which is a state-of-the-art 20,000 square feet facility in Alberta. And the manufacturing unit has a lot of Cytiva's instruments. Well, let me briefly describe the process actually. So because ours is a proteolipid vesicles, there are three components of it. One is the lipid component, and we associate with the lipid partners for that. Then we have the cargo component, which is DNA. We associated with different partners for that. And the third one is which does the heavy duty protein. That's where Cytiva has come in, and that's where we are collaborating with Cytiva. So Cytiva's fast track team is now helping us in the next generation purification of our fast protein. Their team, one of the project is almost complete, and we are very happy with that progress. We will be implementing those changes and those purification in our system, and then it will be transferred to ACTM. We have not stopped there. We also are now talking to their team, thanks to Ken and Patrick, for upstream, where we will be moving away from the wave bioreactor, because after all, we are talking about vaccine, and we're talking about vaccine in millions and millions of doses. So the scalability is unlimited. So, and that's where Cytiva is going to help us. We have microfluidic system in place, which can make 25 to 50 liter in a couple of hours. That is the lipid nanoparticles, but the job is not done there. Then you need, things like, downstream processing, tangential flow filtration, purification, buffer exchange. That's where Cytiva is helping us. Not to mention, as I previously described, that the key component, our protein, is produced using the ACTA systems. We will be procuring in large scales ACTA pilot, all the GMP compliant machines from Cytiva. And as I said, that next month, I think we will be starting our first upstream batch with the fast track team of Cytiva. So very happy to actually have this association, which basically is, I think, just starting. This is one of the examples I'm giving. I'm not going to go into the details of that. We are in an advanced stage where we are talking about the manufacturing processes for vaccine. We are talking about the QBox, and this is something which I want to say that wanted to just show out there that we are in advanced talk with European Union task force, where QBox kind of setup is helping us. And we are talking about, as I said again, and I cannot emphasize more on that, we are talking about vaccine and millions, 300 million doses. So amount of DNA needed to be produced, amount of lipid needed to be produced, and amount of protein needed to be produced is humongous. And for the DNA part and protein part, we are talking very actively with the Cytiva, and things are going really pretty good. And we are very happy with this association. Thank you. And if you have any question, as I said, I'll keep it brief, but I'm always happy to answer any question people have about Entos Pharma. We started with 2 people 4 years back. Now we are 30 people, and hopefully soon we'll be a clinical company. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. That's really interesting and a great real life example of bringing it all together. If Patrick and Ken and Caroline can turn on your cameras, we have a few minutes for Q&A. And we have one question here to start. And it's a question for Cytiva. So I'll let Patrick and Ken figure out who's going to answer this, probably Ken. Approximately how many companies like Entos have pivoted this year to COVID vaccine production, and how has that impacted Cytiva?
That's Patrick, do you want to? So a lot of companies have pivoted. There was a great opportunity to take existing technology and address this huge global challenge that we have. And our fast track services have been booked solid with companies trying to get to that next level. Patrick, do you have an idea how many different companies we've?
I would say every major biopharma has pivoted. And if they didn't have as a priority COVID, they do now. We're working with most of them. The small emerging biotech have pivoted, definitely. They're looking at this as opportunity and going after, the funding that's associated with it to jump off of. And then, that mid-size, to large biotech, if you will, they're all jumping into this space. So they are prioritizing COVID. And in some cases, they're asking for help with those programs. In other cases, they're asking for help with the non-COVID related programs that they just don't have the bandwidth or the resources to support. So I would say anybody that has the inkling or the capability is jumping into this space. Large biopharma is all doubling down in this space right now.
Yeah, it certainly does seem that way. And certainly as British Columbians and Canadians, it's been amazing to watch Canadian innovation actually lead the way in many cases. When Arun just talked about precision nanosystems, we've got Acuitas. Much of our Canadian technology has been behind many of the really advancing vaccines. And then, of course, we have Accelera. So one of the interesting things in all of that is that they were molecules or scientific discoveries that started out of, in many cases, our academia, and tried to take their foot out the door. And as you have all talked about, trying to scale that is immensely difficult. And so I'm interested in what sounds like a very strong partnership with NRC and Cytiva as to how, if I'm a drug discoverer that actually has a promising discovery right now, where do I go first, and at what stage do I need to be for you to be interested in talking to me? So maybe Patrick, if you can take that first.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good question. That always comes up, what to do and when to do it, and putting that strategy together. And there's a common theme you're all mentioning here. It's scalability, right? Taking that next step from drug discovery and then scaling up. So we're in every step of that space. We can do tech transfer, or we can help with, working with customers, very similar to like working with Arun, in the very early phase and looking at next gen processes, or what's cost effective or what isn't. And then there's other things to consider as well. It's the regulatory landscape, right? It's different when you're scaling a process up for human use in clinic or for commercialization. So we really can work with you in all those different phases of support. And that's coupled with larger solutions that can be delivered on the back end as well. That's the equipment and the other topics that Ken was referring to earlier.
Mm-hmm. And then Caroline, I mean, NRC has tentacles all across the drug discovery space, as you know. So, so now I know I have a partner in Cytiva that can help me in multiple ways at various stages, and certainly can probably help introduce me to larger partners that I could work with in the future as well. What I mean by that is some of the larger pharmaceutical companies. But funding is always the biggest issue. So Caroline, there's been lots of announcements. How does NRC help with this initiative of connecting and being able to invest in the services that Cytiva can provide?
Oh, absolutely. That's a very relevant question, Wendy, and a very well-versed point by Patrick as well. If I can follow up on this, we were talking about scalability as well as tech transfer. Well, definitely at NRC, everybody, all of our clients, all of the SMEs in Canada and academic institution, we can actually provide kind of the earlier stages of the tech transfer. So once we, let's say, establish a partnership with a corporate entity or a commercial entity, and then we're talking about scalability. So by the time that this company will be up and running by acquiring all of their equipment and that we're going to be transferring all of the SOPs and the DOPs over to this entity, we can actually provide some of the work in terms of a research approach to it. So we're working usually in collaborative research approach for the development of a new molecule or new proteins. And so by the time that this company, it takes quite a few months or even a year to be up and ready to be at full-blown scale to be able to produce in-house, we can do some of it internally. We do use quite a lot of equipment that we also sometimes recommend our external partners to acquire, since they already interact with us for those collaborative projects. So we're already quite familiar. We have the in-house expertise, the know-how of how to use those equipment. So it kind of facilitates a bit of the tech transfer over to that new company. So if we're talking scalability and tech transfer, definitely on this. And for the second part of your question, Wendy, in terms of the funding, things are changing all the time. As you all know, there's a lot of movement happening these days following the pandemic a crisis that we're all in. And there's definitely programs that have been put in place, such as for us at the NRC, we have the Pandemic Response Challenge program, in which we actually assess and evaluate different projects that they could be suited either for co-investments opportunities or some other type of financial support, so that we can best help the ideas that are stemming from Canadian SME, so that those ideas and the IP remains within Canadian ground.
That's perfect. Thanks. I'm sure that you're going to have lots of people reaching out to you for that, both following this session and for the people in this webinar. This session is recorded, so if you want to access it, again, the contact details, you can either reach out to us or get it through the recording. So with that, I want to thank all of you. This time has flown by. So Patrick, Ken, Carolyn, and Arun, thank you very much for sharing your stories. It was very interesting. I actually have a long list of questions, but unfortunately we've run out of time. So next time we'll do that. We typically, as we end events, want to share our future events for the people on the phone or on the webinar that may be interested in some of the other things we're doing. On December 3rd, we have a member spotlight with SAS Analytics, which would probably be a very complimentary partner. We then have our regional showcase series continuing on, and we will be focusing on Surrey on December 8th. In January, the JP Morgan conference, which is always a highlight, has gone virtual, largely focused on partnering. So something to keep on your radar if you're interested in attending that. And on January 22nd, we will have our Life Sciences Career Connect Day presented by BioTalent Canada, where we will again be trying to connect industry and science and researchers much more closely, as well as talk about what the breadth of careers are in the life sciences sector and what opportunities exist. So that again will be a virtual conference. So hope you can come to that. Access to Innovation is at the end of February, and then our showcase series will be in March in Victoria. So with that, I want to thank everyone for attending. We are right on the hour, and I hope you all have a great Wednesday. Thank you again to Cytiva and NRC for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Good day.